evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us. I think that we all are in for a treat. I know that I'm certainly looking forward to the great information that Dr. Curotto is going to be teaching us this evening. I want to take a second. I always forget to say my name. My name is Mariah Arija, and I'm the Program Director for Mental Health America of Illinois. We are an organization that have been around for 109 years. The organization is dedicated to providing advocacy, state legislative advocacy work to better mental health treatment across the state. And we also are committed to providing free and low cost training and mental health education to the community. And then during the daytime, we have continuing education for clinicians and other mental health professionals. If you have not taken the moment to visit our website, you don't have to do it right now. I'll be dropping links to our website. You can go and read more about our events, sign up for our newsletter so you can find out about other community education opportunities like this. And also, one of the things that a great tool that we have at Mental Health America nationally, we have a series of mental health tests that the public can take. They are free of charge. They're private. They're online. You can go and take those tests. I think we have about 16 mental health conditions that individuals can test for, anything from postpartum depression to anxiety to like parent and child tests. We also have a few tests that are in Spanish, but you can take a test like that. And I always tell people, although they are scientific, they are not a diagnosis, but you can take the test, get your results, and it gives you a starting point to review those results with your doctor or a mental health professional. All right, without further ado, I think I've covered everything that I have to get out of the way. But tonight we're going to, again, we are in for a treat. Dr. Nancy Curotto, I'll tell you a little bit about her. I've known her for maybe almost not quite a year, but
Right.
every conversation we have, she has demonstrated just a wealth of knowledge and a sincere ability to listen. And this is a topic that, pet loss grief is a topic that I think is under discussed. And so I felt it was very important to have her here to talk to us about this. I'm going to look to my notes for just a moment. Dr. Curotto has over 20 years of clinical, supervisory, and consulting experience in family practice, medical settings, community mental health centers, child and adolescent treatment facilities, religious establishments, and the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice. She's awesome. Every time I talk to her, she's awesome. You're going to see that soon. And also, too, in the chat, I'll be dropping in links to Dr. Curotto's pages that you can look at, and we're going to leave you with some resources too. Before I turn it over to Dr. Curotto, I will say we will have a Q&A during this event, but we would like to hold it to the end of the event. So if you have any questions, if you can hold off until the end, or you can drop it in the chat, and I'll see it and take note of it. But Dr. Curotto will be answering them at the end. And that is it. I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Curotto.
Thank you, Mariah. I'm so grateful and honored to be here today at Mental Health America. I'm Nancy Curotto. I'm a licensed Dr. Nancy Curotto. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist in Illinois, Michigan, and a member of the Psy.D Council, which gives me license in 48 states in the United States. I'm here today to talk about one of my greatest works, which is helping people grieve, specifically the loss of a pet. I've been in the field, as Mario said, for over 25 years as a clinical psychologist in meeting settings, and grief is a thread that crosses all domains, all communities, and all age groups. In the last part of my career, I have found space to become a specialist in grief education, specifically bringing to light and normalizing and destigmatizing the grief that one feels when they lose a beloved pet. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. And I'm really honored to do that. Um, But before we begin, I'd like to just go through a few things. One, some disclosures. I have, oops, sorry. I do not have any financial conflicts of interest to disclose. And the material I'm providing is educational based for educational purposes. And it reflects my clinical experience and research informed understanding of pet loss and bereavement. As we begin, I want us to just take a moment to have an emotional awareness moment. I want to offer a gentle reminder that this discussion about pet loss can bring up personal memories, strong emotions, whether recent or in the past. So I invite you and welcome you to take care of yourself. If stepping away is needed, if keeping your camera off or on at different times of the webinar is important for you or helps you feel safe, go at your own pace. You're welcomed to take in this information. This space is grounded in compassion. We invite kindness and non-judgmental stance. I want you to feel compassion and no judgment to yourself. Maybe you're here because you've lost a pet. Maybe you're here because you love someone or know someone who's lost a pet or are interested in understanding grief as it relates to pet grief. All are welcome here as we move forward in this conversation. Just as a to organize our conversation today, what I want you to know and what I hope our time together will convey is recognizing that grief is not something to be fixed, or anyone should tell you that how you should feel or that you should get over this experience. Instead, this webinar is about gaining understanding, support, and I hope you can take away a few gentle tools that you can take with you when you experience grief or someone that you know. By the end of our webinar, my hope is that you gain a clear understanding of why pet loss is a significant mental health event, why this pain is so deeply felt, and why it's important to both to recognize it being real and for it to be valid. We're also going to talk about common grief reactions, about the loss of a beloved companion. I want you to be able to recognize for yourself or in others that you love or in your community how your body and your mind reacts when grieving the loss of a pet and how feeling less alone and recognizing someone else's grief enhances their connection to themselves and to others. I'm also going to hopefully give you an easy practice tool that you can use that helps ground you and regulates your emotions when going through this profound sense, rather intense, what we call large waves or small waves of grief, or when you feel overwhelmed or there's a sudden sense of emotions. I'm also going to offer two rituals that you'll be able to take with you, that you'll be able to honor your pet, honor your loss, and together honor the love and the loss that you had with your pet. Everything we cover today is meant to be flexible. You're invited to take whatever feels helpful, leave behind what doesn't feel right for you, and move at your own pace. So let's begin. Understanding pet loss. It is my life's work in the last 10 years is bringing this to clinicians, community members, faith community members, families, houses of worship, juvenile systems, justice systems, how important to recognize the loss of a pet. Pet loss is a natural and often profound emotional response to the loss of a beloved companion. It can occur when a pet dies. It can also occur when life circumstances happen. For example, when you are separated from your roommate or your partner, when you have housing changes that don't support pet relationships, during family transitions such as migration, or recently, pets are left behind and our pet owners don't know what's happened to them when there are transitions, cultural transitions, and political transitions. What I'm hoping is for to help understand that pet loss isn't about the death, just about the death of an animal. It can be about losing contact and losing the possibility to remain in connection with your pet. Why does pet loss matter in mental health? Well, for many people, it's more than an animal. It's more than a pet. They are our companions. They're our family members, our siblings. Oftentimes, people refer to their pet as my older brother or younger sister. They're often a source of unconditional positive regard and acceptance. Pets offer us comfort. They're the non judgmental beings in our family. They're happy when we're in our worst mood, and they're happy if we're grumpy. They are unconditional, and their presence in our life helps us manage our stress. They don't need our words, they just need our presence. And pets offer us consistent emotional relationships and consistency and routine in our life. Pets shape the rhythm of our daily life. Feeding them, walking them, cuddling on the couch, or just sitting together in company, feeling the warmth of another being can be extremely connecting and healing. Hearing their paws in the hallway, their chirping in their cage, or their meowing. This is how most of us who love pets and have pets in our life, begin our day and how we end our day. That's why pet loss matters, because it's so stabilizing and it's so much part of our life. When our pet is gone or passes, it's not just their absence that we're grieving. We also grieve the loss of a routine, a structure, and most importantly, a familiarity. Ordinary moments all of a sudden feel empty and painful. And grief can surface, these griefs resurface throughout the day, moment by moment, hour by hour, because the bond is so deep. Pets, pet loss affects our emotional well-being, our sense of safety, and our daily functioning. It's not an overreaction. It's a natural response to losing a meaningful relationship. Research shows that losing a pet, that grief is as profound or equally profound as losing a family member or a spouse. Understanding this helps us approach pet grief with compassion for ourselves and others, patience for ourselves and others, and care. Pet loss and disenfranchised grief are often synonymous. And when I started this work 10, 15 years ago, it could not be spoken. People said, it's just another form of grief. I don't think pet grief is really separate from grief in general. I can't tell you when I came into this field how this was just so hard to recognize as a legitimate loss. And it fell under the franchise of disenfranchised grief, the category of disenfranchised grief. What is disenfranchised grief? It is something that is not recognized or understood by others. Many well-intentioned, lovely people can say some of the most minimizing things when it comes to pet loss. Have any of us heard, it's just a pet? You know, the shelters are full of cats. You're going to be okay. These statements dismiss the way we feel And we end up questioning ourselves, like, am I oversensitive? Am I grieving and crying too much? Oftentimes it puts pressure on us to grieve quickly or m- put away our grief. This lack of recognition is disenfranchised grief. What is it? It's not openly acknowledged, certainly not supported, and it's not validated by our families, our society, or our communities. Because this bond is so profound, losing a pet, like I said, feels like losing a family member. You want to isolate yourself. You feel ashamed. Sometimes you feel too sensitive. What that causes for individuals to do is turn inward and marginalize, feel shame, and they hide their feelings. People feel alone in their sorrow. They hesitate to seek support, or what we used to call back 10 years ago, go on the download for support, find some underground group so that people don't shame us. Grief does not require permission to exist, but it reflects the love and attachment and the significant bond that we have lost. Grief has compounding emotional stressors. I read an article this week and I would have included it in my workshop. It was called Polycrisis, compounding stressors, crises from so many different areas. Mourning the loss of our pets. Sometimes it resurrects or unearths earlier losses, things we can't even imagine connecting to my pet's loss. Sometimes a pet's loss can awaken early childhood traumas, losses, griefs that you haven't spoken about in years or ever. Losses of attachment wounds. Our pets sometimes soothe attachment wounds. And when they're gone, those wounds resurface. Sometimes we feel so afraid to be without our pet and helpless. Not because our pets or our tiny Maltese or Chihuahua protected us, but because we felt connected and now we feel alone. Even if these experiences feel distant and unrelated, our nervous system remembers them. When we experience grief and trauma, our nervous system dials back to when did I feel this before? And oftentimes it's in our recent history or way back in our history. It can open up places you never realized needed healing. Sometimes guilt shows up, especially with medical decisions, euthanasia. People often say that their mind questions them. There's a lot of self-doubt. Did I make the right choice? Did I do the right thing? These thoughts and self-doubts are not signs that you did anything wrong or that you made the wrong choice. It's a reflection of how deeply you cared, how much responsibility you felt for your pet, and frankly, how much love you had to give and how much you received. When we deeply love, we often carry a sense of what if? What if I had chosen? What if I had seen this sooner? We just need to know that we did the best that we could with the information that we had at the time that it was happening and have compassion for ourselves. Let's take a moment for a reflection prompt. As we move forward, I want to invite you to take a reflection moment. There's no pressure to share, but if you feel like you want to share and you feel it's okay, I welcome you to type in one word in the chat that captures how pet loss has felt for you. One word. This is simply to acknowledge your experience and to see that you're not alone in this space. If you feel like it and you want to, please type in a word now. Heartache, pain, heavy, aching, empty, guilt, lost, yeah, fearful. All these are debilitating. Yes, these are all words I have heard and worked with individuals coping with loss of a pet. I see your pain, I see your words, and I acknowledge you. You're not alone. Sometimes we confused or we don't know what pet loss looks like or feels like. So I'm going to go through the emotional, cognitive, behavioral, and physical aspects of pet grief and what it might look like or feel like for you. Let's start with emotional. There's a wide range of emotion here. It often shifts from moment to moment. Many people experience profound sadness, longing, guilt, anger, numbness, relief, and confusion. How can I love my pet and feel relief that they're gone? I am a terrible. How can these two things exist? They can. Some emotions might feel expected, others, like relief, can be surprising and unsettling. They make us question ourselves. All of these reactions are common, and none of them mean that you did anything wrong or you're doing anything wrong. You might feel this intense sadness one moment and a sense of calm and relief the next. Some people say, I haven't had a night's sleep since my pet passed. And some people say, I haven't slept so well in months. You might miss your pet so deeply, as well as feel grateful they're no longer in pain or suffering. It's confusing. Many people feel that way. Grief, like any other emotion, contains contradictions, and we experience these contradictions always. It's it's feeling the heartache of loss with the profound sense of love at the same time. How can I love and yearn at the same time? How can I feel this intense pain and love simultaneously? Allowing space for these emotions and these confusions without judgment of yourself or others is an important step towards your growth journey and healing. On the cognitive end, how we think and what our thinking does to us is very important to recognize. Many people find their minds returning again and again to that moment of loss, replaying the final moments, imagining different scenarios and outcomes, and asking themselves these key questions. What if I'd noticed sooner? Did I do the right thing? These thoughts are often in a loop that we call rumination. They're common signs of grief, but it's also a sign that your brain is trying to make sense of something painful and final. Some people also experience intrusive thoughts, images or memories that seem to appear without warning. You're making lunch and all of a sudden an image of the last time you saw your pet pops up, or you're sitting in a Zoom meeting with your boss and you feel this intense need to cry because a flash of your pet passed through your mind. It's distressing, especially if it involves intrusive thoughts about medical procedures or the end of life moments. While unsettling, these experiences are not unusual. After a significant loss, it doesn't mean you feel stuck. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It means you're grieving. You might lose concentration, feel foggy, mental fogness, forget things, easily overwhelmed. You can lose perspective of your identity. Who am I without them? What happened to my friendship group? All my friends are at the dog park. My pet sitter was my best friend. Now I won't have them anymore. Who am I without them? These are not uncommon questions that people ask. because they feel their pet was so deeply woven into their life. These cognitive changes, my pet is not with me, deserve so much support and compassion. And I hear from others, like, I think my friends are tired of hearing me say, I miss my pet or I'm nothing without them. They need more compassion and more witnessing. Physical experiences are documented, well documented, that your body feels the loss. After a loss of a pet, many people notice an increase in fatigue, changes in sleep and appetite, physical sensations like feeling heavy or this tightness in their arms or their chest. These reactions are unsettling. They become, you can worry about, is there something wrong with me? Especially when they're sudden or they're unfamiliar. You've never had a tight arm or a heaviness feeling. They're common in emotional loss and stress. Some people also experience phantom sounds or phantom sightings, and they're scared. They're like, I thought I really saw my pet on the corner of the street, or I got out of bed because I heard them crying for me. And they're like, what's going on? Am I losing it? These are not uncommon experiences. They're called phantom sounds or sightings. And it's just your brain trying to make sense that they're not here. You might hear their footsteps or their meow. You might see feathers if you had a bird, and you feel confused and startled. These are all part of grief. And just know that your brain is trying to grow accustomed to the absence of their presence and the absence of a routine. And it's going to take time for your nervous system to adjust to the absence. It's not a sign of weakness and not likely a sign of illness, though you should always check things out with your primary care physician. It reflects love and loss. What's most important is paying attention to your body and its needs. If you need rest, take it. If you need to nourish your body, nourish it. You need gentle movement. Perhaps you can't work out anymore. Take a walk around the block. You can't leave your home. Do some calisthenics in your house. Gentle movement helps. Compassion helps. If your friends are saying, let's go play pickleball or tennis, you just can't see it. Just say, thanks. That sounds like it would be fun. I'm not there today, but ask me next week. On a behavioral end, what pet grief looks like and feels like is that some people find themselves avoiding. They avoid reminders. I don't want to go into that room. I'm not walking down that street. They put away the items like the pet bed or the leashes or the food bowls because these cues are too painful. Others do the opposite. They review all the surveillance camera video of their pet, go through hours and hours of movies and videos, ask their friends to send them everything because 24/7 they need to be connected to their pet's memory. It brings comfort to them. Both responses are common and neither is right or wrong. It's where you are in your grief journey. Grief can also show up as social withdrawal. I need to be alone. I want to be with nature, or I need to sit in my own home. I can't have anyone around me. Other people become very in need of attention and reassurance. Call someone, they're on the phone. There's a lot of support groups. They join a lot of support groups. They talk to all their friends. They have all their friends come over and support them. That's what they need. These shifts can reflect, again, how you can incorporate support. Some people need to wait for support to allow themselves to have support. Some people just need it to rush in. Some people reach out automatically and it frightens them. Like I reached for a leash and I had nowhere to go. Or I keep ordering food from Chewy when I don't have a pet, but I can't stop myself. Again, these are all normal parts of grief, these habits, because these are habits and routines that are created in love. And we think we're going to let go of the love if we let go of the routines. Behavioral changes during pet grief are not signs of dysfunction. They are expressions of loss and attachment. Be patient with yourself and others. Have compassion for yourself and others. These patterns will soften as you gradually integrate the loss. We're now here at the time where I want to teach you. There are three free guided grounding techniques that Mariah will put in the chat for you to have. These are links. One is an insider link. The other one is a 54321, and they have instructional videos that are free. I'm going to teach you today the butterfly hug. The butterfly hug is a stabilizing technique that helps you to stay in the moment. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by memories or your body feeling overwhelmed by emotion and you're just not sure what to do, this exercise will help bring you back to the present. And I'm going to show you how to do it. You can cross your arms like this and just gently pat like a butterfly hug and acknowledge the moment. I miss my pet. I miss their sound, or whatever it is, I miss them welcoming me when I come home. Acknowledge the sadness, acknowledge the loss, and then bring up a micro memory of them. The tip of their ear, the sound of their voice, the color of their eye. And while you might think this brings up sad memories, what you're doing is making room, you can stop, you're making room for treasured memories. Something I tell pet parents is, you know how we all try and save for the future. We have a 401k, we deposit, and hopefully when we're 62, 65, or 70, we withdraw from it. Our pets leave us a love account. Every day they're in our life, they deposit love. And when they're gone, we have full access to that memory bank. Our pain and our sadness don't allow us to access it until we can start integrating the loss. This technique helps you to access treasured memories because it helps your brain stay present in the moment. And in this moment, your pet has already passed. Right now, you're not learning to live without them. We're learning to live with their memory. And this technique helps. All these techniques help. The second one is the Pet Loss Insight Timer app. You can download the app for free, and this meditation is free. It's a 15-minute guided pet loss meditation that you can do, especially when you feel like your thoughts are overwhelming you, you're having strong emotions, and you need to settle. You can do this at night or on your way to work or at lunch. And lastly, the 54321 grounding technique anchors your attention in the here and now and can be useful during the waves of anxiety when you feel like you have a tsunami, or small waves when you have intrusive thoughts and it frightens you or you're flooded emotionally. That technique, and the link is there, helps you feel grounded. These tools are meant to be gentle supports. There's no right or wrong way to do them. What matters most is finding what feels grounding and accessible to you in the moment that you need it. So there are three options. The next I want to teach you is the ritual. Keeping your pet present in spirit and in memory makes room for treasured memories. And this is one technique. I have a virtual candle. You might download one on your phone. You might have a real candle. You might have your phone lantern light or flashlight. Turn it on and just look at the light and say their name out loud or in your mind. And I invite you to try that now. As we look at this memory flame, I want you to say out loud or in your mind your pet's name. And then say, you mattered and you still do matter. So I'll say my pet's name, which was Mr. Fluffy. Mr. Fluffy, you mattered and you still matter to me. This activity supports meaning making. I'm making meaning out of our bond, our connection. It reduces disenfranchisement and legitimizes your grief. I can have control of how many times I do this, and I know it's supporting my nervous system when I feel dysregulated. The last activity that I want you to take with you or consider trying is writing a letter to your beloved pet. This letter does not end your relationship. It gives it a place to rest for now. It supports emotional processing without guilt or grief or disclosure. It helps you grieve without regret. It helps you look at feelings of guilt and normalizing them. And it's also, this letter is also good for sudden loss because we're not expecting it. In addition, it's a great activity to memorialize pets that are lost not to death, like lost in natural disasters or pet napped or any other tragic not to death. I invite you in your time to start your letter to your pet with, I miss most of you is. Or oftentimes people wish they had said one more thing to their pet. I want you to write what I wish you knew before you left. And lastly, I want you to write what I carry forward because of you. Because your pets landed in your life and created meaning and value. And that's what you will carry forward. Our pets teach us that we're responsible, we're committed, we are, we can be counted on and depended. As we end today, I'd like us to end with a meditation moment. I invite you now to take a slow breath in through your nose and gently exhale through your mouth. If it feels safe, allow your eyes to close or soften your gaze. Bring to mind your beloved pet, not the moment of loss, but a moment of connection. Perhaps the way they looked at you, perhaps the sound of their presence, or how they made space feel warmer and less alone. Notice what arises in your body as you hold this memory of them. There's no need to change what is coming up. Grief is not something to fix. It's something to be witnessed. Silently say to yourself, this love mattered. This bond was real. And as you focus on your breath, imagine your pet's love as something that has not ended, but has changed form, woven into your memory and into your heart. If you're noticing emotions surface, let them come and go like waves. You're allowed to miss them and still breathe. Take one final breath in. And as you exhale, gently return to the room, carrying with you their love and the love you have for them. We're going to end the lecture part. We're going to start with the Q&A. But before we move forward, here's a few points to carry with you. Pet loss is real and it's significant. The depth of your grief reflects the depth of the bond you shared, not the lack of strength or resilience. 2, there's no right or wrong way to grieve, and there's no timeline to follow. When the waves show up of intensity, gentle tools like grounding and remembrance rituals can help you stay connected and present. These practices are not about moving on, they're about learning how to live alongside grief with care and compassion. The love didn't disappear, it's transformed. And I hope you bring compassion, patience, and love to your grieving journey. Mario, do we have questions?
There were, excuse me, there were no, thank you. That was wonderful, Dr. Curotto. I think I see, Sarah has a question that popped, she wrote in the chat. How do I make room for a new dog in my life without feeling like I'm replacing the two I lost? I concur with that question.
Sarah, it is a common question. And this is what, without knowing anything about you, this is what I can share. When someone asks, how can I make room for a new dog? What I hear you say is, I got a lot of love to give. And you're trying to figure out how to love and grieve at the same time. If you have a lot of love to give it. We need more love. Grief is a time stamp. If we wait to love again because we're grieving, grief does not go away. It's transformed. It will wax and wane, but don't wait to stop grieving. When you know you're ready to love again because you have love, love. You'll know it's right. We cannot replace any pets. They are so unique, like we're unique. And grief doesn't go away. We learn to manage it. And if you're feeling like there's something else that's preventing you from loving again, you may consider talking to pet loss informed therapists or pet loss specialists to help unblock whatever it is that's preventing you from doing what it sounds like you naturally do, which is love. I hope that's helpful.
And just in case anybody missed it, oh, there's another question from Robin. My father died this year. Sorry, Robin. I can still connect to him and hold active memories. I'm not experiencing this with my cat. I am broken, yet can't connect. All my memories are flat and two-dimensional.
I'm sorry for to hear of your losses. It's compounding losses, human and animal. This is not an uncommon question. I hear this all the time. I didn't cry as much for my mom as I did with my cat, my spouse and my cat, my parent and my dog. The grieving was unbalanced. Why is that? Well, again, without knowing anything about your history, what I can share are the common themes. Our pets witness us more than anyone in our life. Your cat you were the first thing your cat saw when it woke up, and you were the last being it saw before it went to sleep. And I suspect you never had a private moment because your cat was there. He witnessed you going to the bathroom, eating, getting dressed, going on a date, talking with friends, witnessed you when you were asleep. If you needed to talk to someone at 3 in the morning, few friends will be available for you, but your cat will always be there. So what I'm wanting to say is I suspect the reason why it's hard is because your pet witnessed you in ways you've never been witnessed. That's the gift our animals give us, pure witnessing. So it makes a lot of sense that it's hard to access this three-dimensional love. You feel like it's two-dimensional. And working with someone to help you access these memories and using some of these grounding tools might support you. Um, and grief comes at its own time. We can't warm it up to make it go quicker or freeze it to get rid of it. It comes at its own pace. And I hope that's helpful.
That was wonderful. Tracy just posted a question. Do you believe pets leave signs of their presence? I have experienced on several occasions since I lost my boy.
I'm sorry for your loss. For all of the people asking questions, I'm sorry for your losses. Pets leave signs, and there's no wrong or right way to interpret them. Sometimes you see a feather dropping. Sometimes you see a wrapper of their favorite treat on the ground. Or a different sign, like some people have the sun shining specifically in this one area where their pet used to lay. Signs are all around us because we attribute them to our pet. If your pet used to like, sundown or sunset, those moments they're going to bring up so many memories. Many cultures believe our pets are around us. And so, of course, you would hear signs. Humans feel that way as well. If these signs feel good to you, go for them. Embrace them. I know someone who, when a butterfly shows up, she truly believes it's her cat because her cat always chased butterflies. She's like, so when I see a butterfly, it brings nothing but joy to know that her cat has sent this butterfly. And it fills her for joy and it brings her peace. And there's nothing wrong with that. I see, it looks like Carrie has a question as well.
How do I get over the feeling that I'm the only one grieving in my family? I feel like my spouse and kids don't feel the profound loss I do. Oops. And it's upsetting. It makes me feel like I need to suppress my emotions about it.
I'm sorry for your loss, and that is a feeling that is quite common when members of family grieve differently. And one of the research has shown that it is not the resources we spend on our pets that separate families, it is judgment of our grief. When we judge each other's grief, if you think that your family isn't grieving like you, or you think they think you're over grieving, I hear judgment. Everyone grieves differently. I know you feel like your spouse and kids don't feel profound loss, but we don't know that. They may be expressing it in very different ways. Children, when I consult with parents, I remind them that children grieve very differently than adults. They are moment griefers. They will cry and sob and then say, I want to play with my dolls now. And then weeks will go by and you're like, they're over it. And then they'll be breaking down, like, what happened? I saw Fluffy's picture, and they just bawl and bawl and bawl. They grieve very periodically. The minute they feel something, they feel it, and then they let it go until the next time it comes. So they may be grieving differently. You're grieving in your way. I get the sense your cat was very connected to you, as I'm sure they were with the other family members. And it's okay to grieve differently. Don't judge yourself or ask them, can you understand how I'm grieving? I'm trying to understand how you grieve.
And we have a comment and a question from Robin. Robin says, "Thank you, Dr. Curotto. I feel seen." One other question she has, or he has, I'm not sure. How can I work to move my cognitive reaction that is trying to figure out where my cat is, and is in his spirit okay?
That's a great question. I encourage you to um, consult with your communities, faith-based, secular communities, or spiritual communities. I've worked with many faith-based and community experiences, secular and religious, about the importance of interweaving spirituality and pet loss. In October, most communities, except Buddhists do this in May, have a ritual experience, a ritual service for pets that have passed. And it's tied, at least for Catholics, it's tied with St. Francis. The Chicago police animals get blessed by priests. The horses, the mounted horse police, and the canine unit, they all have blessings. And you can also take pictures of past pets to these communities, and they will find a journey or peace or a blessing for them. Beth Israel in Highland Park has also a service for pets that have passed. And I know that some Muslim temples have services as well. And I encourage you to speak to people that you trust who are also very connected to pets. That could be any spiritual guide, or if you feel that you want to connect with a pet, think about them and feel them. Feel them in your own memory. Try to do the butterfly hug and remember their scent. Remember their sound. And that will feel like a connection in ways that may be helpful.
I want to point out Michelle. She just shared a book. She says it's a great book that helped me.
The
Uh,
Grieving Bang. That's right. It's a
so
great book.
if you want to look at that, I think she put a link to it as well in
Hmm.
or that she has the title in the chat. The Grieving Brain: The Surprising Science of How We Learn from Love and Loss,
That's right.
by Dr. Francis O'Connor, and Dr. Curotto is nodding along, so it's a great resource. And I have also dropped several resources beneath that Dr. Curotto's website, and you can read about the other great services that she provides for pet loss and other therapeutic needs. Below that, you can sign up for other programs like this if you'd like to attend. And I promise you, Dr. Curotto will be back this year. You can also sign up if you feel like you're working through grief, depression, whatever you are experiencing, and you need some additional help. I put also the free mental health screening. I know some people may be joining from outside of Illinois. That's totally fine. You can take this test anywhere. After you finish the test, it will connect you with resources based on your zip code that you enter. So that might be helpful for you. And I think we have some more questions. Oh, Robin
And
says, oh, go ahead.
I also wonder about the There's Moriah put a link to the resources and a sheet for support groups. There's a free support group in the city of Chicago every day of the week. Not every, not the same group every week, but there's one every week, every day in the city. It's virtual. Most of them are free. And the Association for Pet Loss and Bereavement, which is a national organization for pet education and training, have every single day there is a virtual or text support group or phone support group for both behavioral losses, death, anticipatory, a variety of sub losses for pets. And they have a lot of resources for people around the country and in Canada.
Thank you, Dr. Curotto. Um, just in case you weren't here at the beginning of the program, I dropped in that pet loss resource sheet that Dr. Curotto created, and it's the last link in the chat.
Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor. This is my life's work is to bring grief education related to pet loss. And we want to destigmatize it. We want everyone to feel. I hope that your organization supports you, that they provide pet bereavement. If they don't, I encourage you to do advocacy work. Get on your mental health committee or your health insurance committee. Advocate. You're not alone. There are a lot of people grieving a pet who need pet bereavement time. I wish you peace and fond memories of your beloved pets. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Curotto. Thanks more. Thank you. Thank you and thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
everyone for attending tonight.